Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Danganronpa. This is the second part of the 6th trial. Let's get to it.
On the contrary, we don't know anything other than that.
You're not going to tell us she was already dead before we arrived here or something, are you?
In that regard, you have nothing to worry about. I promise you, without a doubt, she died after our little killing game began here.
Then somehow, she was killed in secret without any of us knowing.
And then the body was planted in the garden so that trial could initiate and Kyoko would be put to death.
And after she died, who knows how much time went by before we found her, right? Did the culprit stash her somewhere? She couldn't have been in the garden the whole time, could she?
If she was, she would have been totally decomposed. Just like your brain.
So she was stored in the morgue until the time was right, and then she was brought out to the garden. And then dressed up to look like Kyoko did it. Evidently.
Then, she was being stored somewhere?
But to hide a body here, to just store it somewhere?
There's only one place. I can't think of anywhere else the body could have been stored.
I got it! Mukuro's body was probably kept hidden in the biolab.
Biolab? You mean on the 5th floor?
That's right. It's actually set up for use as a morgue.
And who else would have access to the biolab other than the mastermind?
So it's the perfect place to hide a body. And it'd keep the body preserved at the same time.
Then you're also saying the body was moved from the biolab to the garden.
And I have no doubt that that's exactly what happened. In fact, I have proof.
Oh, daring, aren't we? The proof that shows the body was carried from the biolab to the garden. There's something that made its way from the biolab to the garden.
I got it!
Hey, regain full health.
What makes me so sure the body was carried from the biolab to the garden is the tarp that we found in the garden. When I was checking it over again, I noticed something. I noticed that some text had been stamped on one corner of the tarp.
Oh, it says Biolab.
Holy cow! How'd you notice that tiny little thing?
Makoto's nitpicky nature seems to have surfaced with perfect timing.
Thanks, Byakuya.
This proves that the tarp originally came from the biolab. In fact, there's a whole stack of tarps just like it in there.
So when the killer moved the body to the garden, they must have grabbed a tarp to wrap it in. Then they simply left it as it was to protect against the sprinklers, and put the coat on it afterwards.
You made everything sound so amazingly consistent.
That's Kyoko for you, the ultimate detective.
That's just a wild guess. Where's your evidence? Prove that the body was wrapped in a tarp and moved.
There is no evidence. I was simply explaining what I think happened. But you seem to be getting pretty worked up about it, wouldn't you say?
Worked up?
Now that the conversation has turned to the topic of the biolab, you must be getting pretty nervous. Because the key to uncovering your secret identity is hidden within that room, isn't it?
Is it?
You talking about unmasking the mastermind?
You see, the biolab contained an inconsistency. One so major it can't be overlooked.
An inconsistency in the biolab? Could you be talking about...
La la la, I can't hear you. La 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 la.
Such a child. Oh well, just ignore him.
I need to pull myself together and think. The inconsistency in the biolab. Could you be talking about...
Hey, by the way, Makoto, what about that one thing?
What one thing?
What do you think I'm talking about? Your family.
A direct personal attack? That's pretty low even for you. What?
Don't tell me you forgot about that video message.
You're just trying to distract him.
So what do you think? Are you sure your family's still okay?
Why are you bringing that up now?
This is the most obvious distraction method in the world.
Your mom, your dad, your little sister. Doctor, what do you think has happened to your family? Are they really as safe as you might have assumed?
Stop talking about that!
Calm down, Makoto. He wants you to get upset.
Yeah, I need to calm down. I can't let him get to me. He's just saying that because he knows we're getting close to the truth of the biolab. So if I want to shut him up, I need to expose the inconsistency and slam him with it. The inconsistency has to be that one area where the numbers just don't match up. Trying to visualize the lab. Oh, the amount of lockers. Wait. Yeah, the lockers. 9 dead, 6 alive. Oh, bullet time battle.
Are you sure about this? Are you sure about this? That's impossible! What? What do you want? Are you sure about this? That's impossible! Are you sure about this? Are you sure about this? That's impossible! Are you sure about this? That's impossible! What? What do you want? Are you sure about this? That's impossible! Are you sure about this? That's impossible! I'm not listening! I'm not listening! That's impossible! Are you sure about this? I'm not listening!
The lights?
This should prove it.
What about the light? Oh, the lights on the slots, right? Yeah.
The inconsistency Kyoko's talking about is the lights.
I thought they were talking about the overhead lights that was used to light the room, and I'm like, oh, okay, what does that have to do with anything?
What are you talking about? What about the lights?
Like I said before, the biolab also acts as a morgue. And as part of that, a giant refrigerator was installed in there. That's where everyone who's died is stored.
And it was set up so that when a slot had a body in it, a blue light would turn on.
In other words, if the blue light is on, that means there's a body in that slot.
But I counted up the number of blue lights that were on, including the one Mukuro was in, and there were only 9.
Why does that matter? You gotta give me the bite-sized version here, man.
9 lights doesn't make any sense. The number of lights that should be on is 10. Because 10 plus 6 is 16.
I got it! 10 of the lights should have been on. Any other number is incredibly suspicious.
Suspicious? Why?
That's simple. Just recall who's died here so far, and it should become clear.
That's right. That's the key to solving this mystery. Sayaka died first. Junko was second. Leon was third. Hang on, I'm just crossing them all off. Where is she? Junko, Leon. Chihiro was fourth. Mondo was fifth. Taka was sixth, and Hifumi was seventh. Celeste was eighth. Sakura was ninth. And victim number 10 was Mukuro.
So 10 people in all?
That's right. Any other number should make you immediately suspicious. But according to the lights in the biolab, only 9 people were being stored there.
You're saying a dead body just up and disappeared?
What if they were never dead in the first place?
I got it! The mastermind destroyed one of the bodies to get rid of evidence.
Now that wouldn't exactly be fair, would it?
But if they wanted to do that, they would have destroyed Mukuro's body, since they actually killed her. And yet, her body was left alone.
Then, whose body disappeared?
It may very well be that none of them disappeared.
But if that's true, then why doesn't the body count match?
Including Monokuma's executions, there have apparently been 10 deaths, but there were only 9 bodies. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I'm completely lost. How can the number of victims be less than the number of murders?
The reason there are less bodies than murders, the explanation for more murders than victims. Why is that? What would it take for that to make sense? Nope. You're just sweet dumbass. Same person was killed twice?
I got it! What about if the same person was killed twice?
Killed twice?
Officially, 10 murders have been committed so far, but one of the victims may have been murdered, and then murdered again.
Murdered and murdered again?
If that's the case, there could have been 10 killings, but still only 9 victims, right?
Technically, you're right, I guess. But still, something like that.
Could easily have happened. No, it is what happened.
Sounds like you're already convinced. Then can you tell us who was killed twice?
It was Mukuro, of course.
How exactly would that have happened?
Before she was killed as Mukuro Ikusaba, she was killed as someone else.
Oh, that's how Junko was killed. And...
And that's why the body had to be stored in the biolab until the moment we found it in the garden.
No, that's crazy talk. She was killed as someone else? Come on! Besides, who could that someone else even have been?
All you have to do is look at those bodily injuries of hers, and that will become obvious.
Nothing's gonna become obvious, because Kyoko's totally delusional! Who is this someone else that Mukuro was killed as? Was it Sayaka Maizono? Junko Enoshima? Leon Kuwata? Chihiro Fujisaki? Mando Owada? Kiyotaka Ishimaru? Hifumi Yamada? Celestia Lu... whatever? Or maybe Sakura Ogami? No. There's no way anyone was murdered twice! Who is
I appreciate this
someone
creative
else
layout.
that Mukuro was killed at? Was it? No, there's no way anyone...
No, that's wrong. Junko, wasn't her fatal injury pretty similar to Mukuro's?
What do you mean?
Well, remember what happened to her? She was impaled by a bunch of spears, all over her body.
And Mukuro died from a number of wounds across her body. When you compare that to the stab wounds Junko suffered,
Then the similarities match?
Yes, and those are the only fatal injuries that match up. That explains why those 2 bodies are actually one and the same.
so let me see if I have this straight. Junko, or someone going by that name, was stabbed to death with multiple spears. Then her body was kept in the biolab for however long before being dragged out again. Only this time, it was presented as the corpse of one Mukuro Ikusaba.
if you're trying to disguise that body as Mukuro, why keep the fake nails on?
It all matches up, right? Those wounds Junko suffered could easily be these same injuries.
It's really true? Mukuro and Junko are the same person? Wait, so then... what does it all mean?
It means that there haven't been 10 victims, but 9. Which also means that among the people we thought were dead, 1 is still alive.
And that's the true identity of the mastermind?
Who is it? Who's behind all this?
Who?
We already know the answer to that. It's Mukuro. She's still alive. She took Junko's body and made it look like she was the one who died. So Mukuro is still alive. She's gotta be.
That would be the easiest explanation, not necessarily the true one.
Total silence? Then I must be right. I'm right, aren't I?
Cue Monokuma bursting into laughter. Mukuro alive? The one that's still alive is Mukuro? But can we really believe that? No, there's no way. There's no way Mukuro Ikusaba is still alive. Because her dimensions, that Kyoko mentioned, are matched up with the body, yeah? Mukuro Ikusaba's profile.
The body we found in the garden. It wasn't Mukuro.
Nope.
Then she's still alive?
That's right. She made it look like Junko's body was her. So the mastermind's true identity is Mukuro.
I didn't listen to the entire conversation. I think I'm slipping.
Shoot! The body we found in the garden. It wasn't Mukuro.
No, that's wrong. No, the body we found in the garden was Mukuro. That's one thing we can be sure of. The body's appearance and measurements are consistent with her records. Right, Kyoko?
She was 5 foot 6 inches tall and weighed 97 pounds. Her vitals were 31, 21, 32.
Wasn't it 5'7"? Are you lying to me? It's 5'7", 97, 31, 22, 32. Oh.
Everything in her profile is consistent with that corpse.
And then there's the matter of the Fenrir tattoo. So there's no question it's her.
But if Mukuro's not the mastermind, then who's actually still alive?
Someone's made it look like they died, but they're actually still alive. There's only one person it could be. This girl right here.
Here's my answer. Junko is still alive. It's the only possibility.
Are you sure about that?
Am I?
Huh?
I admit, since Mukuro is undoubtedly dead, Junko does seem to be the only other explanation. But we saw her get impaled. She died right before our very eyes.
That was someone masquerading as Junko.
If Junko were still alive, the death we saw would had to have been some kind of charade. But you yourself confirmed she was dead, did you not?
Now that you mention it. Oh, because if the body in the garden is Mukuro, and the body in the gym is Junko, then the body... And if the body in the garden is Junko, and the body there is Mukuro... No pulse. I did check, absolutely. And I can say for sure.
She was dead. There's no question. Junko was dead.
So, the idea that she's still alive.
She's alive in the cloud.
It must be wrong.
Then you're withdrawing your previous statement?
I know you gave it your best shot, but too bad. I guess your conclusion was a dud.
A dud.
Too bad, too bad.
This case hasn't been decided just yet.
Oh?
You haven't given up already, have you, Makoto?
There's still more to uncover. Huh?
No, of course not. There's no way I'd give up that easy.
That's all well and good, but how do you intend to solve the problem standing in your way? Junko absolutely died. Mukuro absolutely died.
What about the fake nails in the boots?
Then both of them are dead, right? There can't be any kind of survivor story.
I think we need to look at this from the opposite direction.
Huh? The opposite direction?
Let's assume Junko is still alive. If so, how could she have survived?
How could Junko have survived? I checked her, she was dead, I'm sure of it. But still, if she were alive somehow, could it be that Junko's not the one that died? It wasn't Junko, but someone else entirely. Maybe she used some sort of trick. Oh boy. Replacement? Replaced? Seems like it. Oopsie. Head of the game here. There we go.
Now I understand. That's it. What if she switched places with someone else?
Switched places?
That's right. Before the spears could kill her, she got someone to take her place. Specifically, Mukuro Ikusaba.
Then that would make it Mukuro's corpse that showed up later.
Which is why the body's height and weight and everything match Mukuro's profile, right?
Okay, so Mukuro took the spears, body was preserved, Junko's been controlling Monokuma this entire time, Mukuro's corpse shows up in the garden, everyone confirms it was Mukuro, Junko's still controlling Monokuma.
I don't know anything about this switching places thing, but that had to be Junko who got stabbed to death, right?
How do we know that?
Yeah, you're saying they switched? When could they even have done that? Right when she was about to die? Like she used some kind of ninja replacement technique?
Good point. There's just no way they could have switched like that. So maybe the whole idea is wrong.
There has to be some way. I need to figure out how to explain they could have switched. After death? Probably. That's the only... No? Okay. At the beginning.
I got it! The two of them may have switched places from the very beginning.
Yeah, those 15 students standing in the main hall. Who's to say Mukuro isn't one of them?
What? From the beginning?
Yes, from the moment we first met. If that's when they switched, then they wouldn't have had to switch at the moment of death, right? After all, the one we saw at that point would have already been Mukuro.
Hold on. So, you're saying the Junko we first met was actually Mukuro all along?
Okay, alright. Alright.
Then we'd already met her?
I had, like, a normal conversation with her.
When we first met, none of us knew who anyone else was.
That's a good point.
So Mukuro could have simply told us her name was Junko, and we never would have known the difference. That would easily allow the two of them to switch places from the very beginning.
Wait, but Mukuro had a tattoo on the back of her hand, right? Junko never had any tattoo like that, did she?
She could have hidden it with foundation or something like that. If she did, it likely melted away in the explosion. exposing the tattoo after the body was extinguished.
So there's makeup to hide tattoos, eh? Interesting.
Plus, there were the fake nails found on the hands of Mukuro's body.
Ah yes, the fake nails. Tell me about the fake nails.
They were the same fake red nails she was wearing when we all met for the first time.
But if she really did use foundation...
Correct. Even if there was no tattoo on her hand, I couldn't say for certain it wasn't Mukuro. So I'm glad nobody noticed that glaring hole when we were trying to figure out who attacked Makoto.
But too bad for you, Monokuma. You can't deny it anymore.
Wait, so this whole thing was a setup in the very beginning?
If that's true, it was quite an elaborate plan to be sure, making it look like Mukuro was Junko.
And Mukuro had to have been willing to die at that point, willing to resist Monokuma. If this is all for the sake of despair, I applaud her.
The reason such an elaborate plan was possible is because the two of them were working together.
So Mukuro, the ultimate despair, teamed up with someone like her. In other words, it would be fair to say that Junko herself was also the ultimate despair.
Because it is a group of people, not one person.
What's wrong? Lost the will to fight back?
Cue Monokuma laughing hysterically.
I think he's just afraid.
Afraid? What's that mean, afraid?
You should know.
Fear is only possible where hope is possible. I only have despair, so fear is an alien concept to me.
That's an interesting outlook.
Then why haven't you been saying anything?
Because it's a bunch of nonsense. Junko's my secret identity? As if.
Then why did you try and protect Junko's real identity?
I tried to protect her identity? When did I do that?
So he still refuses to admit it. But he can try to deceive us all he wants. It doesn't matter. Because I've already figured it out. He tried to hide Junko's identity, and not just once, but twice. The first time was during our latest investigation. Could it be the DVD?
I got it!
Ooh, there we go. Intuition.
While I was in the AV room, watching the DVD of our interviews with the headmaster.
My memory is stronger than I remember. It wasn't just the monitor DVD player itself that apparently turned off. That's a blatant way to obscure information. Yep.
You made sure I couldn't finish watching the video. And the reason you did that is because you didn't want me to see the real Junko, did you?
Got him.
Oh, yeah! If everyone was in that video, of course Junko would have had to show up.
And if Makoto saw the real Junko, it would have been totally obvious that the Junko we met was an imposter.
That whole power outage thing was just a fluke!
Really? No, it wasn't a fluke. The mastermind definitely orchestrated that power outage. And that's not the only time they tried to hide Junko's identity. The mastermind tried to cover up one other piece of evidence. I've got to reveal that. But I think I should end the episode here because, you know, half an hour and all that. Thank you very much for watching. That was Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. It is available on Steam and the Vita for $30. The sequel Goodbye Despair is also available on Steam and the Vita for $30. Please pick them up if you can. They're very, very good games. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. Toodaloo.